Creativity. Final pillar, and probably, for me, I guess, one of the most weirdest ones out of all of them when rebuilding a foundation, because I have to combat a lot of the imposter syndrome. Actually doing things and balancing the playful aspect of it with the it's becoming a little bit of something I might want to be a job type of deal. And a lot of it just comes down to the balance of the inspiration, the imposter syndrome feelings, and just freaking doing it. Because sometimes I feel extremely inspired to create, to do, I mass produce stuff at that time and it feels great. And then other times I literally, like the past couple of weeks, in a lot of ways have felt that I just didn't want to make anything. I didn't have the time to make anything. I felt like I had to do all this extra stuff to make things, and that there was not going to be good enough. Like, it was always like not good enough. I wasn't going to be styled enough. The poetry wasn't going to be good enough. The sketch wouldn't turn out well at all. The video would turn out like crap. The podcast wouldn't be good quality. Whatever thing came up, it was always something that would come up, something that would mess me up, and it drove me crazy because sometimes you just need to make things, right? Like, sometimes you just need to create. So one, the idea, personal policy, you need to create something every freaking day. Let the creativity just happen, whatever the hell it is. It doesn't have to necessarily be something, but I need to be creating something once every day. Two, I also need to kind of just schedule time to freaking do it. Because one of the things that worked really, really well for me, that kept me inspired all the time, that didn't make me feel out of connection with my inspiration, was the fact that I created whether I was inspired or not. Sometimes you just have to do it. Many times I'm not going to feel inspired. Many times it's not going to, I feels like I'm really pulling teeth to put a word on a page or to put a pencil to paper to sketch anything. And I kind of know everything's going to turn out like crap, but it doesn't matter. It's, you know, the whole idea of like done is better than perfect. Like, you just got to do it freaking anyway. And a lot of times it is just the actual doing that then brings out the inspiration in some way, shape, or form. Like, I literally have started filming these videos and suddenly knowing that I had a thing and I want to do it in a certain order and all this was coming together, just starting them and doing them has made it so much easier to sit down and actually get the things done. A lot of it too is just, it's like this weird anxiety, I guess, that comes up about why I can't, yes, boo-boos. There's gonna be cats that interrupt. You wanna be creative too? Yeah. Whiny kitties. But I don't know, it's just something that I've realized I just need to kind of schedule it and force it to be in certain times, and maybe even under like a time constraint seems like a really great idea of being like, okay, so for like 1 hour every single day I need to be making something, whether that's a video, podcast, sketching, whatever the hell else, you know what I mean? Like, just, it's got to be something. And for 1 hour every single day I got to be making something that's not related to my day job, because that's a different type of creativity that in some ways almost drains it out of me, because it's not a passion project in any shape or form. So if I do that, I think that will also give me something else to do, which is also rest and relax, and understand that sometimes there are times when you're just not creative, you're not inspired, you're just drained. Taking this time to be away from YouTube, away from my podcasts, and even though I felt so freaking guilty in the beginning, it was like, no, you had a schedule, you were posting things, you were creating stuff, it was good, why are you not doing the thing? And I would just let the guilt overwhelm me, and then I feel even worse, and I wouldn't create even more. It was just, I think sometimes allowing it to just be, and in some ways for you to live life without creating things, you know, just consuming good things, helps, just because it, one, reinvigorates your creativity, and two, sometimes you just need a break. Sometimes you just need to rest, because just like when you work out and your muscles are sore, sometimes I feel like your creativity like can get sore, like your inspiration, your muse is like, I'm tired, bitch, let me be for a minute, I don't want to do it right now, I need to rest so I can go back into it with like something actually inspiring and fun to do, as opposed to it being just another weird ass idea to put out there just to have weird ass ideas. And then again balancing between the two, because I think if I'm like, okay, if I made something every day for at least 1 hour, Doesn't have to be posted, doesn't have to be put up on the internet, doesn't have to be for content creation's sake. It could just be for fun, but allowing myself to have that very structured time will then allow myself to be like, okay, well, you created a thing. You don't have to create more. You don't have to do more if you don't want to. I don't know, something about like that weird ass balance between having the structure, so then the rest of the time you can do whatever the fuck you want with the time, right? Because a lot of times I did get into the pump out creativity stuff, and then it seems to go away, which makes sense if you use it all up in one batch. And limiting that and hopefully will help. But on the other side of that too, when I was talking about consumption, also I'm being very mindful of the things that I am consuming to help inspire me. And I mentioned this in my podcast before, where I feel like I am finding a lot of stories and things that are all based on certain concepts of like, people don't change, there is nothing to aspire to, you're not going to get what you want, there are no happy endings type of deal, or that you can't get out of a cycle, that there's a fate, a predestined thing for you. And you know, sometimes you get wrapped into stories or creations and you think it might turn out right, and because you like the struggle. I like seeing people come up against adverse things, but I like seeing them succeed at least every once in a while. Like, come on, something. Like, you can't get everything you want, but you should get some of the things you want. You should at least get close, you know? And I've realized that so much of what I've been consuming lately is kind of like that, like almost those creations that don't give you that concept, right? Like, these are the lessons that are embodied in a lot of things that I'm consuming are less of inspiring, you can do it, the world might be a shit place, but you know, you can still make it a little bit better with what, you know, instead of that, I'm consuming a lot of things and concepts that are all based on the opposite of that. And that is very clearly, I think, affecting my mentality, because I'm having that lesson of, you can't break out of this cycle, you cannot fix your life, you cannot do anything. Even though I have proof to the contrary, because I moved my ass across the freaking country, it still feels like, well, then this is what you got and you should be happy with it, because it doesn't get better than this. And maybe I should be reading things that are like, no, it does get better than this. You can't have everything that you maybe want. It may be hard as fuck, it may make you feel like you can't, and there are times when you get to doubt, and that's fine, but at the end of the day, you will be okay. And if you keep pushing and moving forward and all of that stuff. And I realize that's the type of art I also want to create. I don't want to create content, video-wise, poetry-wise, podcast-wise, art-wise, that embodies a sense of doom, of cycles never broken, of never being able to improve or level up. I want to embody my art to embody the opposite. I want my art to be maybe a tap of inspiration. I want my creative juices to suggest that, hey, the magic of life, love, happiness, these are all things that are freaking goddamn achievable, and if you don't have it now, work your ass off for it, because you can actually wrap your fingers around it. You can improve your life, you can improve yourself, you can find better things overall. That's the whole freaking reason I'm a witch, is because I'm taking ownership of my energy and the energy around me and manipulating it to my will so that I can improve my life. I've got to have some belief that I could do that in the freaking first place, and I want that to reflect in my art. And I think for a long time I kind of struggled with the concept that we have to suffer in order to make good art, especially when it comes to writers. It's all this thing about being depressed and an alcoholic, and that you're gonna probably end up killing yourself by the time you're 40. And I'm just, why do I have to be the suffering artist? Why do I have to be the person who's sad in order to create something that's worthy? And why is it that we devalue anything that ends in a happy ending? It's a fairy tale or a chick flick, or, you know, why does any sort of happiness seem in some way shallow? Why? And when it's shown in a creative form, when so many ways we're all reaching for it constantly. I think sometimes I just have to acknowledge the fact that maybe the most creative, most artistic, the most embodied thing is making stuff that inspires, that invokes happiness in other people. That's kind of the point. And that's in a lot of ways a whole different direction of a lot of where my art could go, because knowing that everything's a journey, but maybe that journey ends in fucking happiness, that's not a slight possibility, that's not a, you know, a shot in the dark type of thing, that it is very much freaking huge possible if you're willing to take the jump and go and do it. That's what I want my art to embody. That's what I want to inspire, and it's what I want to believe in. So I can rewrite stories of my graphic novel, or focus on happy versions, things in my poetry, you know. The cycles are important. I think it's important to, you know, focus on the negative emotions and talk about the things and show in art how there are struggles and shit going down and that people are going through bad stuff. But I don't know, to constantly be surrounding myself and to be then creating things that embody the idea that maybe it's just a constant cycle of suffering that we're never going to get out of, it's not productive for me anymore. I think that shift in perspective with my creativity is hopefully what I freaking need to then get out of that, and then to hopefully not feel like an imposter with my art because I am talking and wanting to create things that make me happy and that make other people happy. It doesn't have to be some deep inner reflection about how I'm suffering. It can just be, hey, this gave me hope, me inspiration, had me have a deeper trust in the universe beyond and in myself, and that's perfectly valid and freaking creative and mind-blowing in itself. So anyway, that is the conclusion to my Building a Foundation series. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Let me know down below what are some pillars of your life that you would love to cement and build in your foundation. Hopefully now, with these things in place and these ideas in place and me attempting to build, I can build an even better freaking life that is spiritually, financially, home-bodying, health-wise, relationship, creatively fulfilling in all of the pillars. And I will hopefully see you guys sometime next week. Bye bye.